but you got today. Put them excuses away. Pick up the pace. If you really want it, then you gotta chase. Hey, I need a whole lot of space. Make some room. I gotta prove that I'm nothing like you. And I'ma do it. If it's in the way, then we going through it. Like a Peloton, gotta keep it moving. Talk is too cheap, you just gotta do it. You ain't gotta like it cause it's stats approved. Only one way. Gotta bring it straight to their face. Ain't nobody safe. Plus it's only one first place. Know what that means? This ain't a fight, it's a war. We focus on up in the score. If you think you better than battle. If you really with it, then battle. Just battle. If you think you better than battle.
Let's get it.
Only first place finishes, so I seek and destroy every one of my nemesis. My power limitless, and my scorecard is perfect, it don't have no blemishes. No apologies, cause I ain't ya, it's just my nature that makes me a different type of creature. I'm a bitcher, bonafide gamer. Before you play me, better read the disclaimer. I'm that force to be reckoned with. I know your mama didn't warn you, you shouldn't be messing with. You don't compare to me. We're not the same, there's no similarity. Moment of clarity, you should be scared of me. Run all, you'll never get rid of me. So incredibly outdone. If we go to war, I'm the one you can't outrun.
Only one way. Gotta bring it straight to their face. Ain't nobody safe. Plus it's only one first place. Know what that means? This ain't a fight, it's a war. We focus on up in the score. If you think you better than battle. If you really with it, then battle. Just battle. If you think you better than battle. Just battle. If you really with it, then battle. Just battle. If you think you better than battle me. When it's time to ball. We back in the field, we ready, it's time. It's nothing but hustle inside of the huddle, you know that I grind. A dangerous mind, a weapon of choice when pushing the line. Go overtime and I won't break when it's crunch time. My end game is number one. Bet it all, give me my cash. Supreme game, can't stop it. Take off like a rocket. Break it back, don't bend mine. I'm the one now, you can't hide. Legendary like legacy. This is our moment, our time. This is our moment. This is our time. Time is now. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. Yeah. Coming for glory. We ready for war. The city's behind us. We giving you more. We ready whenever. The world is watching. The time is now. No other option. No other way. Play to win the way that we play. Destined for greatness, born to be great, ahead of the game. In front of the pack, leading the way, it's time to reign. The kingdom's here, this is our year. Been to the bottom, ain't nothing to fear, we running the game. Rush in the field, for every yard, on every play. Nobody's safe, rise when we fall, but never stay down. The champs is here, doing it for the 10. This is our moment, this is our time. The time is now, it's time to rise. This is our moment, this is our time. Time is now, time to rise. our moment. It's our time. Feet in the dirt. Nose to the ground. Like the crack of dawn. You can't stop the shine. Moment after moment. Day after day. It's our time. Lock and loaded, it's time for war. Ha. Tear down, kick in the door. Yeah, I want it all, give me some more. Ha. I want it all, give me some more. I want it all, give me some more. Yeah. Kill them all, it's time for war. It's time for war. Like pandemonium, I set it off. Yeah. Sacrifice, I bear the cross. Legendary, I'm a big dog. Hard knock on the front line. Pure blood, my bloodline. Headshots the first time. My aim good, bullseye. Warfare. Don't play fair, don't play fair. You not sure? Don't go there, I'm right here. No fear, I'm ready to go at top speed. No brick wall can block me. No army can stop me. Yeah, I want it all and I can't lose. I came far and I won't stop. This my time, I pay dues. Yeah, it's war time and I won't retreat. I want it all, give me some more. I kill them all, won't taste defeat. Nah. Now bow down at the king's feet. It's time for war. I want it all, give me some more. Kill them all, it's time for war. Kill them all, it's time for war. It's time for war.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV simulcast on the Community Radio Network. It's the playoffs. It's the trucks tonight. Round number 2 in the round of 12. And we welcome you to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV, CRN. I am Wesley Outland. We've got, of course, Mr. Terry Radford alongside Jason Rockefeller. We will be introducing them very soon as they will be covering the turns here at the 17-turn road course speedway oval that is the ROVAL here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And, of course, as always, Charles Wooten is in the production chair ready to go for the broadcast coverage for Rocket Media. Well, we were ready for this playoff race. The ROVAL is in what many people call, since probably 2017 or 2018, a wild card for the NASCAR playoffs. That will be the final race for the NASCAR Cup Series, October the 9th, in the round of 8, or the round of 12 for them. The round of 16 was just ended at Bristol last Saturday night. They have, of course, Texas this week. Shout out to Charles because he's in Texas. NASCAR will be at Texas. Then they go to Talladega, and then the ROVAL. And I got to be honest here. We think of Talladega in the playoffs in the next round, Terry, hands down, this is going to be a wild card here for this round of the playoffs. The ROVAL, it is going to be, I think, an exciting race, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you start to work your way into turn number 1 here. It starts to get a little slip. The grip level's low. The infield portion doesn't have a whole lot of laps. They used to run the old Legends, the older style cars on the road course around here, which gave them the idea to put the Cup cars here. But this is going to be fun. Who uses a little bit of the rumble strips? Who goes off into the painted sections just a little bit more? And how much gas can be applied in these trucks? It's going to be interesting to see across the board on what driver comes out on top here this evening.
So Terry Radford will be calling the action from the Tums Heartburn turn number 1 all the way through the infield of the road course here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We now bring in the third member of our broadcast crew, the man that's got 2 names, 2 first names. I never knew that. John Jason Rockefeller back in the hot seat with us again, buddy, and he'll call the action from NASCAR turn 1 all the way around the Charlotte Motor Speedway to the chicane to turn number 3. Good evening to you, my friend.
Good evening, guys. And yeah, it's going to be a really interesting race here tonight, a road course here in the round of 12, covering through turns 8 all the way out to NASCAR turn 4. It's going to be interesting. Now, yeah, I got to cover regular NASCAR turns 1 and 2. And 3 and 4, you know, they're going to be going a little bit slower. But, you know, it's going to be really tricky here tonight is getting into turns 11 and 12. You see a lot of guys shoot that corner heading into the braking zone. A lot of guys try to overestimate or just underestimate the corner in general. They'll just get into the corner really, really hot there down the back straightaway, causing them to get off into that rough area, have to do a stop and go. Are going to overshoot there tonight, and you're going to have to really be on your marks here tonight, especially going through that chicane on the back straightaway.
55 laps here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A competition caution sometime between lap number 25 and 31 like the Cup race was for the trucks here tonight. Let's take a look at the weather conditions on the bottom right of your monitor. For tonight's broadcast, weather conditions is going to be air temp, virtual sim at 81, wind speed comfortable between 7 to 10 miles an hour, partly cloudy conditions. The sun's going to poke through a time or two, but right now massive cloud cover over the ROVAL at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the track temperature is currently at 94 degrees. And I believe, Terry, as we get more cloud cover over this racetrack, that's going to drop down the track temperature as well throughout the race.
Yeah, it's going to lift the grip up as well. I talked about going into the infield portion of this racetrack where I'm going to be. I'm going to be intrigued to see what some of these drivers can do. I watched Paul Newton's qualifying time there, and he used a lot of the track. He actually pushed out and was getting very close to the painted sections of the race course, which doesn't necessarily carry a lot of grip. So I'm going to be intrigued to see, can he sustain that all the way through this race as the tires start to pick up a little bit more speed, because for some reason these road courses, the tires don't fall off as much. You pick up more speeds, you run faster lap times. And by the way, the guy sitting on the provisional pole right now is the last road course winner. So no slouch here on these left and rights.
Yeah, it's something we'll definitely keep an eye on for sure. Real quickly, let's take a look at the point standings going into this race tonight for the Northwest Racing Series Truck Division as they prepare. Obviously, Stephen O'Hare, the Beaver State driver, the American touch-up number 41, put himself into the next round of the round of 8 by virtue of winning last week at Auto Club. And there you see the remaining points. Ryan Bloom is right behind them. 4 points back is Tyler King. 5 points back to Bloom is Sean Breitzman. Then you've got John Ottenbacher, Kevin Smith in your top 5. Hayden Anderson, Dan West Jr. right now the top 8. And if you're on the outside looking in after the next 2 weeks, Jason, Paul Newton, Chris White, defending Cup Series champion of last year, Cole Raz and Dennis Moore, they missed last week. They've got to get on the high horse, if you will, in these next 3 races somehow, some way to advance into the round of 8 or at least get into the top 8, because right now they are on the outside looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dan West Jr. and Paul Newton right now, they're having great nights so far here in qualifying. Look to be in the top 4, top 5 right now in the session. So, I mean, I expect them to run really good tonight as long as they're able to just stay on track, don't run off track, you know, keep the tires on it, because that's the thing with road courses is if you try to drive the truck really, really hard, those tires are just going to be eaten up really early. You're not going to have much drive in and much drive off at all. That's the thing about road courses compared to oval is all the tires get affected, and compared to an oval where you're going to just slide up, you know, you're going to be sliding all over the place on a road course like Terry talked, really slick, especially getting down into the infield. But for Dan West Jr. and Ryan Bloom, all those guys, you know, I think that they're going to have really, really good nights tonight, especially with the way they're performing qualifying here tonight so far.
And I'll tell you right now is Ryan Bloom is right now on the number 2 spot in qualifying. Paul Newton, obviously the man that we all know, ready to make a run at the pole, 121.40. But now here comes B.J. Tidrick. And if people did not know, it's good to have B.J. Tidrick back with us in the Old Spice Ford. He had a hand injury about 2 weeks ago where he lost I think it was his thumb. And he has been recuperating, healing after being on the mend. It's good to see Tidrick back out on the racetrack, Terry. That's something we'll definitely have to keep on and watch as he spins out your way.
Well, I tell you, this is not the track that I would jump back on after a hand injury. That's for sure. This track is very technical. It's not my favorite to call, but it's my favorite to race. Watkins Glen used to be my favorite road course of all time to come out and race it, but then the ROVAL, it surprised me with the amount of speed that you carry around here. We're going to call in NASCAR 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the speed that you can actually put on the racetrack when you come off the exit of the corners, and then you come down to a dang near a complete stop in the bus stops back there. So, this is it's gonna be fun to see how many off tracks we can have tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Right now is Frank Harris. We are waiting to see him come back on course now to see what he does on the racetrack. Of course, everybody getting into position in these final moments before we introduce the starting lineup here tonight at the ROVAL of Charlotte. Again, these drivers will go 55 laps around the 17-turn ROVAL here. Of course, it is the road course with a couple of chicanes added to the mix, and then the intermediate big speedway, the 1.5 mile at Charlotte Motor Speedway, used with the exception of coming through the entrance of the double dog leg right there from that angle from a camera shot from turn 1. You see turn 4, they have cones blocking the entire turn 4 entrance of the double dog leg. They've got to hit turn 16 and 17 at the chicane. They make that turn, and then they've got to get quickly back on the gas, through the throttles, and back to start finish before they roar back into the dog leg, back before they enter turn number 1, which they'll enter turn 1, but that is the Tums Heartburn turn. That will be where they will pick it up there for Terry and through the road course here at the ROVAL. As the clock is ticking, you see the countdown is upon us. All of these drivers getting ready to go here. We are getting ready to go here for the second round of the playoffs here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway at the ROVAL. What will transpire and who will prevail and join Stephen O'Hare? Let's give you the starting lineup here tonight as they're getting gridded for the trucks at Charlotte. Paul Newton, fast qualifier, by the way. Good solid lap for him. Ryan Bloom of the 25, the ARCA Northwest 2021 champion, row number 1. Row 2 will find Devin West in car number 5, his father alongside two-time defending champion of Dan West Jr. in 55. Row number 3, Sean Brightsman of the 46, the Cup Series champion for the Northwest in 2020, and another champion winner who won last time at Charlotte back in 2020, Jeff Stabnow. He'll start 6th. Row number 4, Dennis Moore. He's way in the back in the round of 12, trying to make the fast 8 to the next round. He's going to have a decent run tonight to the 44. And Kevin Smith, the 00 to the outside. And to round out your top 10, Terry Radford, Billings, Montana, John Ottenbacher, and the 47, now the 47, no longer the 6 of the defending Northwest Cup champion, Chris White in 47. There's your top 10.
Coming good around the field out is Arl Burke and Toby Ritters in row 6. Row 7, you're going to find Ray Forner and Tyler King in that 21 machine. Go back to row 8, we got BJ Drick and James Vining into 333. Troy Daggett and Ron Hunter there. That rounds out your field. Oh, and Frank Harris. That was Frank Harris back there, my bad. he didn't take a time.
Yeah, 19 trucks signed in. One driver did not start the race but attempted to, and that's the 333, the Catman, James Vining. You can see some of his quotations of reasons why in the chat box. And, of course, James Vining not able to join us for the race. They'll make one preliminary lap around the racetrack when the field takes green flag. To give an analogy or description of some of the racetrack, Terry Radford, what's it going to be like for these drivers when they head your way off of the hump? Tums, heartburn, turn number 1 at the green flag.
Slick.
Okay, one word, slick. John Jason Rockefeller, can you give us more than one word when they come to around the NASCAR part of the racetrack and turn 1 your way?
Well, when you get out of turn 7, you're going to be heading to turn 8, coming where out of Terry's going to stop his call. You're going to have to put the power down, but you don't want to put the power down too much because you will create wheel spin in the rear. You will spin out, mark my words. Getting from the flat exit of turn number 8 out into the banking in turn number 1 of NASCAR turn 1, rounding around turns 9 and 10, then down the back straightaway, heading for 11 and 12 in the chicane. Hard braking zone all the way down to a low gear. You got to want to make sure that you don't overshoot the corner for sure. It's going to be hard to do that for some of these drivers, but I expect them all to try to make it out as clean as possible. You head out of turn 12, back on the gas, upshifting to turn 13 and 14, and then a hard braking zone all the way down to 15 in the last few corners into the last chicane.
All of that we'll keep an eye on. As a matter of fact, you see them now working their way around the part of the infield road course here at the Roval, while all of those corners from turn number 2 to turn number 8 will be on the call for Terry Radford. Of course, we have John Jason Rockefeller now working up in his part of the racetrack now, as these drivers are behind the toe of the Porsche Carrera pace car, safety car, just to kind of get a similarity feeling of what it will be like for the drivers whenever they go time here at Charlotte Motor Speedway at the Roval. 55 laps the distance. There will be only one caution flag. One caution flag. That will be between lap number 25 and 31 for the competition yellow. By the way, don't forget LSRTV, YouTube, and Facebook coverage, as well as on Fox Sports Radio in the Carolinas. We'll have a special 1 hour finish line. Actually, I don't know, it might go more than an hour, but it begins at 1 p.m. Eastern time. The Finish Line Live Motorsports Show. We've not done it since North Wilkesboro. We are live at the track at the $50,000 to win Fast Track World Championship presented by Dealer Group USA. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And if it goes well, talking with the producers, we might do a Saturday afternoon show, maybe a 1 hour show, to possibly interview the heat race winners from preliminary night tomorrow. That's where I'm at right now, heading as soon as I leave my broadcast studio in Clayton, North Carolina. I'll be making the trip 5 hours up to the Tidewater region of Virginia. The field is working their way into NASCAR. Turn number 3 and 4, that's actually turns number 15 on to turn number 16 now. And yes, they will make their way through that chicane to come to the start. The NASCAR Cup race is normally full speed coming out of turn number 4. We're ready. Round 2, playoffs. 19 trucks rip their way to speed. Green flag in the air. They'll sit at the Tubbs Heartburn turn number 1. Newton on the whole shot and everybody right behind him in tow.
Yeah, everybody in tow. You got Newton there on the single file by himself, and it's 2 by 2 behind him. They straighten it out from 4th on back, and now they're all going to straighten out. They don't want to get into turns 3, 4, and 5 up here side by side, especially with the little bit of room that you have here. You're going to start to drift as the race progresses. But Paul Newton, he said, hey, check you, see you later. He's almost 0.8 of a second up. Jason, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, everybody just single file right now. Still a long ways to go. Obviously, green flag right there. You see the 5 of Devin West get a little bit loose, trying to put the power down just a little too early there. Thankfully, was able to save it, but now they head through turns 1 and 2 of NASCAR, and heading down the back straightaway, you have Dan West Jr. all over the back bumper of Devin West. They head to the chicane right now, still single file, putting the power back down. Everybody shoots back down to the inside of the racetrack through NASCAR turn number 3, and they're heading back to turn 4 of NASCAR, of the NASCAR Oval.
Yeah, they work their way off of turn number 15, back off of turn 4. They miss the double dogleg entrance. They hit the chicane to turn number 15 and 16. All the while, put 1 lap on the board as you're on board with Dan West Jr. He is in 4th. It's Newton Bloom West in front of him. That's his son as they work, and we got a problem on the front straightaway right in turn number 15 and 16, where 21 Tyler King has a problem entering turn number 4. Heavy damage on the American touch-up Ford. He'll fall all the way back to last. Remember, no caution until the competition yellow, and all that happens now as the leaders are right back inside the road course.
Yeah, it's a tough break right there for the 21 of Tyler King. But like you talked about, no cautions on a road course in iRacing until you get either a big pileup and they are forced to throw the yellow flag, or we get to that stage break there. But it looks like he's just a tad bit loose. He kind of goes wide there in turn number 3, gets in the grass a little bit, but not a whole lot of damage on that American touch-up Ford F-150. It's just a little crinkle.
Yeah, I mean, just a tough break for that 21 right now. But as we head back now to the front of the field, you see the 55 Dan West Jr. rounding around turns 13 and 14 right now. Going to head back down into the chicane now, heading for turn 15. They're still single file.
Back to the chicane. Here they come back to start finish line as we work down 2 laps on the board this time by. Newton still the leader. There's this battle there is right now understanding the Bloom fastest truck on the racetrack in the number 2 position. Dan West Jr. now all over looking, trying to run down his son of Devin West. Also, Sean Brightsman behind them as they work their way to you, Terry.
Yeah, you're starting to see Ryan Bloom creep that lead down just ever so slightly. We look here at Devin West and Dan West Jr. starting to fight, but the 25 is starting to catch the 27, as now they're going to work their way and work this battle for the race lead back to turn, I believe we're in 14.
Yeah, right now you see Bloom slowly just reeling in the 27 of Newton. As you know, you just said prior, Bloom just ran the fastest lap of the race so far, but now they're heading out of turn 10, heading for turn 11, hard braking zone. 27 really gets in there nicely. The 25 almost got into the back from there now as they head through the chicane out of turn number 12, back onto turn number 13 right now, but they're still single files. Ryan Bloom just a couple truck lengths behind Paul Newton for the race lead.
Field working their way back out of turn number 4, NASCAR turn 4, through the chicane to turn 16 and 17. This is from the back spoiler of the lead truck of Newton. Right behind him is actually, correction, the Jeff Smith truck. So that's actually Jeff Stab now, I believe, on board with him as all those drivers work their way back to you, Terry, out of turn 2 off the Tums Heartburn, turn 1.
Yeah, we see the shot right here from the 27. It's 0.3 of a second is what's separating them now. It's 4. Turns 1 and 2 and 3 has been really good for Paul Newton, but when he gets to 4, he starts to trail just a little bit. A heavier break-in zone when they come through the inner portion of this racetrack. He's not been able to mash the throttle. That time he gets a little wheel spin in the rear end of the truck, and the 25 is able to capitalize. Now they come through 8 and 9 and back up to 10.
Ryan Bloom just doing a great job right now, trying to reel in the race leaders. You see a battle right now for position between Kevin Smith and Dennis Ford. They head back now out of turn number 8 on to turn number 9 now. They're going to be side by side as the 44 of Dennis Ford looks to the bottom of Kevin Smith. That's the battle for 7th right now as they head out of turn 10, heading for 11 and 12 right now, back to single file racing. But Ryan Bloom right now still trying to march towards that lead on Paul Newton right now, back by about 0.6 of a second here out of turn 14.
All of this action working their way now, 5 trucks in that pack. There's Newton, the leader. He better hold on tight, though. Ryan Bloom is coming, and he's coming quickly as they work their way. Terry, back to the Tums Heartburn, turn number 1, looking for the lead.
Yeah, Ryan Bloom's trying to do something that the Broncos really don't do much, and that's win. So he's trying to chase Paul Newton down here as they come through the inner portion of this racetrack. And I find this surprising that Ryan Bloom is absolutely dominant on the inner parts of here when they get to the road course section of it. But when they get back on the NASCAR portion of this racetrack, Paul Newton has been phenomenal. Very stellar through turns 10, 11, and 14 and 15. No wheel spins from him as now they come back to the NASCAR track.
Yeah, 25's really good on the intersection of this racetrack through the infield, like Terry said. But right now, 25's going to get a little bit of a draft weight from the 27. You want to be careful, though. Get down to turn 11 and 12, because here they come into the chicane right now. Oh, he gets into him almost. He overshoots the corner. The 25 overshoots the corner. He's going to have to, not a stop and go, but continues. We just saw a couple laps ago that the 25 almost ran to the back of the 27. Right now, he's going to fall way back behind the 27. He's under fire from Devin West and Dan West here at a turn 14.
So here's the deal. Obviously, we got a truck also in the chicane losing it again. That's Kevin Smith, as we see now the battle with Chris White and John Ottenbacher. Smith now back rolling again. Here's the deal, though, as they work their way down for Smith off the corner through the chicane. Dennis Moore, Chris White, John Ottenbacher. If you overshoot the chicane, you have to come to a stop and give that spot back. If you don't, you will suffer a penalty. Ottenbacher and White go at it in turn number 1.
Yeah, the 47 of White almost lost control there with a little bit of touch from John. And now you see the 23 of Ritters. He's all over the back bumper of the 89. The 23 is going to kind of slow down a tad bit more to try not to get to the back bumper there. But you're seeing these trucks starting to wiggle back and forth when they go to get back on the gas here. Not a whole lot of grip in the out portions of this racetrack. A lot of slip and slide, but you really got to wheel these things through here. You kind of got to be a little rally car style as we continue to slip slide around here. To you, Jason.
Yeah, those tires are just going to wear out more and more as the laps progress. You'll see a lot of drivers in the top 3 series of NASCAR. They'll try to change their driving technique as races progress on the road courses, whether it be that they'll do later downshifting and earlier braking to try to keep the tires on it. That's something that a lot of these drivers very well may do here tonight, as we still take a look at the number 89 of John Ottenbacher right now as he rounds around turns 13 and 14 right now, but it's all Paul Newton still in the front.
All of this happening now as the leaders work their way back out of NASCAR turn 4. Now we've got another great battle heating up inside the road course area. Your view, Terry, that's going to be Ryan Bloom. Of course, also Devin West for second spot.
Yeah, West is starting to make a lot of ground up here, and yeah, Bloom had the issue and overshot the chicanes, but he's not catching back up to the leader. Paul Newton's still about 1.8, 1.9, almost 2 seconds away. So, hey, this inner portion of the track is still doing good for the 25.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he did fall back a lot, but right now he's gained a little bit, gained about 1 to 2 tenths there just through the inner portion as they round around turns 9 and 10 right now, heading down the back straightaway. 25 is just very aggressive getting in there. I'm sure he learned his lesson from overshooting the corner just a couple laps ago. But right now, he's still reeling in that 27. I think that the 25 of Ryan Bloom is definitely faster in the braking section parts of this racetrack. It's just a matter of if he's going to be able to slow it up in time and get through the corners nicely.
And as that works on, the leader is Paul Newton, the road course king, if you will. We know it in the Cup cars. We know it in the trucks as well. As Newton works his way, there's Ryan Bloom behind them. Devin West, your top 3. They nestle back into turn number 1 and 2.
Yeah, the 25's just been really, really good under the heavy braking zones. He hasn't really lost control of the rear of the car, hasn't slid the front other than the one mistake that he made into the bus stop. But he's been under control, and I'm very proud of the 5 and the 55 back here. They've kept very good pace as well. It was 122.6 and a 123.0 for the 5 and the 55 there. Just doing a really good, a mark-up job of how they've been able to control so far with 8 laps on the board.
Yeah, they are doing a great job. Very surprised that the 5 and the 55 are actually able to keep pace, because from what it seemed like in qualifying, I mean, Paul Newton and Ryan Bloom were just like in a league of their own. But I mean, they're still trailing back. Yeah, they're about 4 seconds back almost, but still, they're still in the picture right now. Only 4 trucks right now out front. You see another truck back there. That's Sean Brightson in the 46, just coming out of turn 10. But right now, they're still working their way around turns 11 and 12, back to 13, heading to 14, but it's still Paul Newton up in the front. But I wouldn't count out Devin West or Dan West Jr. here as the race progresses, if anything were to happen.
Yeah,
on the race.
Still right now being patient, if you will, in the opening single digits of this race for this 55 lapper at the ROVAL. Still a long race, still a long way to go here. And right now, again, it is Newton the leader, Bloom in second. He is now pulled away from the West family. They go at it at a turn number 2.
I wonder what family dinner will be like if Dan wrecks his son right here, as they are virtually nose to tail around the inner portion of this racetrack. But it takes them a little bit of a slip up, a little bit of a mishap on the brakes, maybe a missed shift, and you don't get down to second in time. And there's different ways to slow the car down. You can slow it down with your gear, with your shifting. You can slow it down with the brake. We'll see if this battle continues here between the 5 and the 55.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just mentioning beforehand. As the drivers progress throughout the night here, you'll see some drivers might try to brake earlier and then downshift later to try to keep the tires on it. That also helps you be more consistent with the truck that you see right now. 55, Dan West Jr. going for past the 5, really loose there. That's what we talked about, just drivers, you know, missing a shift or just braking it too late going into the chicane. Could have been a disaster there for the number 5 of Devin West, but great job saving as they head out of turn 14.
Field works their way back out of NASCAR turn 4 to turn number 15, 16, 17, through the chicane. Everybody on the binders, quickly back on the throttle to the start-finish line. Let's pick up Paul Newton, the leader in the 27 truck. He is the man that's out in front. Why do we call him the road course king? The Northwest, because he has 3 wins this year. Guess where they're all from? Road courses. A win at Watkins Glen, Road America, and Sonoma. And right now, Terry, he's got a very, very strong run here in truck number 27. Actually, Jason, he's working your way back to you into NASCAR turn number 1 with a 1.6 second lead over Ryan Bloom.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Really surprised he's been able to keep his lead so far because Ryan Bloom was reeling him in. He did get out to about over a 2-second gap, but Ryan Bloom just seems to be very, very fast, consistently over and over again every lap, heading through the infield section of the racetrack. He's cut it now down to 1.5 seconds, but you see him right there. He's just so hot into the corner. He almost misses the chicane again going through turns 11 and 12, able to gather back up, but it goes from a 1.5 now to a 1.8, almost 9-second gap now as they work their way through turn 14.
By the way, the man behind him, Ryan Bloom, as you just see him right patiently in second spot, he has one win this year. That also came at a road course back in July at Circuit of the Americas. They're all single file, nobody jumping out of the line. The conga line of speed. Terry goes back inside the intermediate part of the speedway as now we pick up coming off the corner off of turn number 4. Here comes Chris White, the 2021 Northwest Cup champion. The 47 dubbing machine battles Billings, Montana, John Audenbacher, Ritters with a good run, Clifford to the top 10. Terry, as they work their way back to you inside the road course in the infield at Charlotte.
You see that 89 was very late on the brake there. He kind of slid it in a tad bit, but he's working in front of or behind a guy in the 47 of Chris Wright that just has a lot of pace, has a lot of speed. He's able to keep it. At that time, he almost lost it. He got off track just over the curves just a tad bit. He's going to let the 89 get side by side with him. The 89's going to push the 47 over the rumble strips and almost took them both out. But now you see John, he's starting to work his way, creeping inches ahead of him here. And we'll see what the 47 can do on the NASCAR portion.
I tell you what, Terry, if I were Chris White, I would not be very happy at that 89 right there. Heading through turn 5, he really pinched him down to the curb onto the rumble strip. Almost caused the 47 to get loose and get up into himself. That's Ottenbacher in the number 89. Great job by those two drivers to save it. But if I were the 47 of Chris White, if I got back to the 89 of Ottenbacher, I would not be very pleased. Too early in the race to be doing that kind of stuff. But right now, as they work their way through turns 13 and 14, Ottenbacher holds the 8th spot.
Field works their way back into turn number 4. And we got one in trouble. Slamming in front of you, Terry. We got a problem for Troy Daggett, 99.
Yeah, he hit the wall a ton, and he's had enough. He's going to tow her back to pit lane. That was a ton. That was a ton of a hit, and I mean, no surprise. It comes in the track, part of the track that I literally said at the beginning. It's slick. You're not going to want to go through there, but you have to drift to stay fast. You have to drift through that portion to keep speed. That's what we've seen with the 89. That's what we've seen with Ryan Bloom, who's now catching the leader. He's worked a 1.5 seconds up on him.
Yeah, by the way, that's what your word was, slick. Slick. How's the conditions in front of you in NASCAR turn 1 as we see Audenbacher and White go out into the corner there, Jason?
Yeah, Ottenbacher continuing to hold that 8th spot over Chris White, but Chris is just trying to reel him back in. Like I said, wouldn't be too pleased if I were White in that 47 truck.
maybe going to give him a little bit of a bumper, maybe going to race him a little bit differently than you would anybody else that you would race for the remainder of the night for sure. But right now, Ottenbach just continuing to pull away from Chris White here in that 47, and that's John Ottenbacher in the 89, as he works around 11 and 12. But the 47 of Chris White, he's going to be under fire from Kevin Smith as they head through turns 13 and 14. Back to you, Wesley.
Everybody working their way back out of turn number 4. Currently, it's Paul Newton, Ryan Bloom in second, Devin West, Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman, Stabdown, Moore, there's Ottenbacher, and you see White and Smith rounding out the top 10. We're also at the top of the hour from Charlotte Motor Speedway in the ROVAL. This is the Northwest Racing Series playoffs iRacing on LSRTV and CRN, the Community Radio Network.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Your CRN, my CRN, our CRN. We are CRN. The Community Radio Network now and the new WCRN 87.9 FM. And still always anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN. Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week. Working lap number 15 of 55, 14 laps are completed. No change in the top 10. Welcome back to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV and CRN, the Community Radio Network. I'm Wesley Outland. We've got, of course, covering the action inside the road course here at Charlotte, Mr. Terry Radford, and from NASCAR turn 1 to the chicane to 3, Mr. John Jason Rockefeller. We got him covering the action there, as right now it is all Paul Newton. Jason leading your way off the back straightaway.
Yeah, Newton right now doing a great job at holding off Ryan Bloom in that 25. We've been talking here as we were under that commercial break just a little bit ago. The 25 closes in, but Terry said beforehand, just lose a little bit of time wondering if the 25 can actually get to the 27 here.
Yeah, got to keep an eye on that, see if there is an opportunity for Bloom to try to reel back in that driver of Newton. And remember, the last time he tried into the chicane, he slipped and he overshot the chicane. This time, perfectly, methodically, puts the front wheels off the turtles. He works his way back up onto the ascent to run down Bloom. Cut it to almost a quarter of a second their way, Terry, in front of you.
Yeah, he's there, but can he get by him? That's going to be the real question. Passon has not been at a premium here. Our biggest mover, you would say, is only up 4, and that's Frank Harris, but he's also been gifted a couple positions with Ray Foreigner in the 26. He's fell 6 positions, and Tyler King's fell 2. So it's been a gift that's kept on giving for the back half of the field. And now you just continue to see as we work closer and closer to the only caution we'll get here this afternoon. Ryan Bloom still on the back bumper of Paul Newton.
Yeah, Bloom is just doing a great job just hanging in there with the 27 of Paul Newton. 27 just took the corner there, heading through turn 8, a little bit lower than 25 did now as they head out of NASCAR turn 2 through 10. Coming down to turns 11 and 12, the 25 is awfully close. Here they come through the chicane, over the rumble strips. The 25 right on the bumper, put about a truck length or two in between him and Newton as they head through 13.
And we got trouble, guys, right in front of you, Terry Radford. Chris White inside the top 10.
It's no surprise that we're calling his name in the inner portions of the racetrack wrecked. At least the driver's side caved in a tad bit. He has been on edge since the beginning of this race, and the 47 is hoping and praying that the competition caution comes out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked about it earlier with him and Ottenbacher. Wonder what happened there between the 47 and maybe whoever it was. Maybe he was just, by himself. I mean, interesting to see. I mean, Chris White has been a guy we've been talking about the last few weeks. So good, so consistent, and he's just really just a good driver. Road course is probably not obviously his thing here tonight. Tough night, but he's been doing a great job so far. Tough break for the 47 though.
We kick back here to the battle of the father and son, Dan West Jr. and Devin West, starting to fight again in the inner portion of the racetrack. The 5 gets on the paint just a little bit, gets the back end kicking. He's going to swing passenger driver and then kick it back driver's right. The racing continues around here.
Yeah, absolutely. The 5 and 55 are just going at it. It's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots right now. You got red versus blue here heading through turn number 10 as Devin West just holds off Dan West Jr. right now as they're heading into turns 11 and 12 right now. The 5 has been a little bit squirrely through that portion of the racetrack there, a little bit loose on exit, but the 55 not able to get there as they head into 13.
By the way, if you look on the broadcast, you see the yellow spoiler on the back of the truck, and the front window panel visor has the yellow and the playoffs logo. That is something that'll be done for the remainder of the year to signify those that are watching. We'll describe for those that are listening on CRN who is in the playoffs. By the way, in case you didn't know, those drivers include Stephen O'Hare, Ryan Bloom, Tyler King, Sean Reitzman, John Ottenbacher, Kevin Smith, Caden Anderson, Paul Newton, Chris White, Cole Raz, Dennis Moore. Cole Raz is not here, and also Dan West Jr. as we're on board with his truck right now working off the corner.
Yeah, I wonder with Dan West Jr. and Devin West, his son, since he's not in the playoffs, is he going to, towards the end of the race, back off the throttle and allow his son to get by? You would think that this could be the thing. The 55 is going to need that position. He's been there to capitalize, but he hadn't been able to capitalize on the capitalization of it.
Yeah, they've been running pretty identical lap times right now. That is something interesting for that Terry just pointed out. Would Devin West allow his son to maybe get, that one position if it came down to the end of the race? If they were, one position, right next to each other. It's definitely something that's going to be interesting. If you see it right there, the 55 almost overshot turns 11, but great job by him keeping on the racetrack now as they head to 13.
Yeah, nice save there to turn number 13 on to 14, 15, 16, 17 here coming off of NASCAR turn number 3 and 4. Got a great battle heating up on the racetrack right now. This is between Kevin Smith and John Ottenbacher off the back straightaway now, getting ready to head their way into the chicane. This is for position going on for position number 8 and 9. The Walla Walla Washington number 00 Clickin' RV Ford finally clears by the 89 of the Daytona truck winner, John Ottenbacher. That was a battle that now has fizzled out as they work their way back to turn number 16 and 17 through the Toyota restart zone. And by the way, sometime between lap number 25 and 31, competition caution will wait, Terry, as they work their way back to you off of Tom's Heartburn turn number 1.
We missed a massive story somewhere. Something's happened to that 27 of Paul Newton. He has fell out of the race lead. He's 3.5 seconds, almost 4 seconds behind Ryan Bloom in the 25. So something major has happened there on the 27 machine. We'll have to get on that to see, what caused this massive gap. Because the last we looked up, it was a blink of an eye. He was almost 0.6 of a second, almost a second in front of Ryan Bloom. Now the tables have turned. It's 3 seconds plus for the 25 as we continuously look here at Smith. He's working his way to the NASCAR portion.
Yeah, interesting that Terry pointed that out. You know, they've been running so single file recently. You know, I wonder if Paul just maybe got loose, got off track a little bit, because it's not like he lost like a significant amount of time, but still, you know, it's the largest gap that's been in between Bloom and Newton here all night so far. We're 20 laps in, wondering what happened to Paul Newton as they worked their way to turn 13 on lap number 20.
Yeah, whatever happened to the driver, Paul Newton, he is now losing ground. 3.7, 3.6 seconds back to the leader of Ryan Bloom. Paul Newton is, and there you see Kevin Smith working his way back to start finish. He is currently in the number 8 position, and we're seeing if Audenbacher can try to run him back down. Right now, he's got a pretty comfortable spot. He's got Sean Reitzman in front of him. That's for 7th, back in front of you, Terry.
Yeah, you start looking at lap times there. It was a 1:25.4 to a 1:25. We have 1:24 to a 1:25 between Audenbacher and Smith. Not a whole lot of difference there. And now we look here at Devin West. Oh, he's wrecking.
Oh, he spins
Wow.
out. Absolutely disaster right there. We talked about how the 5 and the 55 were just getting in there really hot all night, and the 5, unfortunately, finally bit him there. Just really hot there going into the corner, but great job by keeping on track.
A slip by the number 5 of Shelton Washington's Devin West. Not a playoff contender like his father. Obviously, because of real-life work-related commitments, he was not able to make a full-time run on the series this year, but it's always great when we can see him. No harm, no foul. Looks like no damage on the truck once he lost it in the chicane, but you got to wonder, Terry, if that truck is tightening up, as right now he falls back to 4th.
I hope it tightens up, and it tightens up fast for him, because he's slipping around this track like he's on ice skates, and that's no fun. I've been in this predicament of racing here at the ROVAL on iRacing, and whenever you get a couple laps in under your belt, you start to get a little confidence, and then you get a little bit too much confidence, and then you're a cocky butthole like I am at some point in time, and you slam that sucker into turn 1. You think it's going to stick, and I promise you, Wesley, it ain't sticking anymore.
Oh yeah, for sure, Terry. No doubt about it. I mean, these tires now, it's 21 laps in. Like you talked about, competition caution going to come between lap 25 and 31. Gives these guys an opportunity to come into the pits, take some fuel, maybe make a few adjustments, you know, get more fresh Goodyear Eagles. But right now, the 5 is just praying and hoping that he's able to stay on track here for the remainder of the laps before the competition caution comes out.
And the field working their way back around NASCAR turn number 3 and 4. There's Devin West. Whatever problems he had, he is still fighting that truck as he works his way, as we have a battle now picking up on the back straightaway into the chicane. This is for 8th position. Kevin Smith has somehow got away from John Audenbacher. He has ran down the Brights Boutique Toyota, the 2020 Northwest Cup Series champion of Sean Reitzman in that teal green looking 46 machine, or should I say teal blue. Smith overshoots the corner, drops back to the gap, works down to the inside, little razzle dazzle. Now some ink and blinking on the 00. We got to watch that, Terry, as he works back to you to turn 1.
Yeah, you mess around and miss somebody at a place like this, and you think that you're clear going into turn 1, but you're not. And it's going to end your day before your day has begun. So we'll start to see, can he keep the winking, blinking, and nodding away as we could kick back some Andy Griffith references. We're in the North Carolina area. Hopefully everybody likes that one. I actually drove through Mayberry, a very beautiful little town, when I went up to Virginia. But the 46 of Brightsman starting to slow down a little bit, starting to backtrack his way while he's still running a little faster times than Smith. He's losing some time in the inner portions of the track.
Yeah, the 00 of Kevin Smith just kind of just aiding very slowly on Sean Brightsman now as they work their way through turn number 10 onto the back straightaway out of NASCAR turn 2. Heading for turn 11, the 00's been getting in real hot like some of these other drivers have here tonight, like the 5 of Devin West did earlier. As you see right now, nice clean run through the chicane now as they work their way out of turn number 12.
Yeah, solid run as they come back through turn number 1 and 2 at this time. It's still Ryan Bloom, the leader. There is, of course, this best battle on the racetrack, heating up again through the Toyota restart zone. Now back to the chicane, off the rumble strips to the Turtles in turn 17. It is Sean Brightsman. It is Kevin Smith. This is for 6th and 7th. Terry Radford back to turn 1.
Yeah, best battle on the racetrack by far. Everybody else is about 6 seconds, 2 seconds, 4 seconds in between. We have a 20-second gap as well somewhere on this race surface. But Kevin Smith doesn't care. He wants the 6th place position from Sean Brightsman. He gets really, really close. Brightsman gets loose, and luckily for the 0-0, Brightsman's just going to let him go. He's not going to continue to challenge him. He knows the comp caution's coming here in the next 7 to 8 laps. Not going to fight this at all. You don't want to tear up your equipment when you don't have to. A little damage to the right sides of these vehicles, and they're back to the NASCAR side.
Yeah, good job by the 46 of Sean Brightsman to gather it back up there out of turn number 4 in the infield section like Terry was talking about. Malik just got a little bit loose there. But great job by Kevin Smith here tonight. Very nice, quiet night. You know, he's been running really solid here as he works his way through turns 11 and 12. Brightsman, though, right on the back bumper. He gets a little bit loose, almost taps the wall there. But the 0-0 continuing to stay in the 6th spot.
Another thing you got to remember is that tunnel turn coming off of that chicane, entering NASCAR turn 3. That could also cause some really big havoc for these trucks as throughout the race we roll on here. Closing in on the window. Next time by, we're working down 24 laps completed on lap number 25 now. And again, for Kevin Smith, this battle here, finally getting around Brightsman. Ryan Bloom still out in front looking for another road course win when he won back in July at COTA. Terry, he is the strong man right now.
He's on a rail. You look back here at John Ottenbacher. He's trying to catch up to Sean Brightsman. Brightsman's not been able to control this truck in the inner portion of this racetrack. He started to gather it back up for a second, tried to make a run at Kevin Smith again. It's now Smith starting to have a little handling issues. But this 89, we talked about quiet nights. Jason, he's had anything but a quiet night. He's been up and down.
Yeah, the 89 of Ottenbacher got into it with Chris White earlier on in the race, but he's been able to reel, other drivers out in here tonight. Chris White back to 11th, and Ottenbacher currently running 8th. Could possibly here before the competition caution pick up 2 spots, gets in a little bit hot into turn 11, able to close up though really nice to the back bumper of Brightsman here out of turn 12, but he could pick up a couple positions here late in this run.
For everybody that says, man, I wish you'd show more than the leaders. Well, guess what? That's why Charles is one of the best in the business doing what he does. This is a battle in the back. This is for 6, 7, 8, Smith, Brightsman, Ottenbacher, perfectly through the transition of the chicane, back to start finish. Working now the window between 25 to 31, the comp caution. The only question is, like you said, Slick Terry, is when.
Yeah, I'm surprised as you start to see these drivers if they're watching it on YouTube, and hopefully we're painting a really good picture for the people on CRN. When I said my one word was slick, I truly mean that. When these drivers go down into turn 1, they go to 2, they go to 3, into 4, and then they take 2 sweeping turns here. As you see the 0-0, he's going to lock it up there going into turn number 6, now working to 7. They're having to control these things with a little bit more brake here, and it's not fun.
Yeah, absolutely not. But here, Paul Newton's on pit road now.
Oh, that's smart.
Gotta wonder if he's trying to get the upper hand of everybody else. Pitting before the competition caution for the 27.
Why not?
What's the word our Canadian announcing friend calls it? The undercut. He's trying to get the undercut before anybody else comes to the pit lane and take advantage. And look at this. He is going to pit and exit perfectly. He is going to end up in the top 5. We're the leader. Ryan Bloom works his way off the back straightaway there, Jason.
Bloom right now has almost a 30-second gap. That's half a minute now as he works his way through 11 and 12. Possibly maybe got gifted the lead earlier on, but Paul Newton may have just played the race winning strategy by pitting earlier on.
Revving those engines on board with the Boise State Broncos, number 25, the 2021 ARCA Northwest champion. Listen the way he transitions off the rumble strips, and there is the caution. Wow, they took it all the way to lap number 30 or lap 29 in the Cup race tonight. They throw the yellow flag on lap number 26 as Ryan Bloom crosses the start-finish line Everyone else will run him down as he works through the Bank of America, part of the infield road course, Terry, and that is the caution flag.
Well, let's look at Paul Newton's strategy for a second and kick it back a lap when the 27 comes down pit lane. Why not? He wasn't going to lose a whole lot of time. He had over a 46-second gap to Jeff Stabnow back there in the top 5. So why not make the strategy? Why not make the call to come down and do the little flip? Because he's going to go from second to the lead. We saw how hard it was for Ryan Bloom to make that pass on him. It took a potential mistake, in which I'm still trying to find out what happened, to Paul Newton that caused a 4-second lead to be put there. It looks like, yeah, it sounds like in my ear he got the rumble strips a little bit, but this is huge because I think that if we see Paul Newton, Ryan Bloom go at it, it's going to take the bumper to get Paul Newton out of this lead.
Ryan Bloom, the leader, and he is trying to catch the safety car. Not yet caught the pace car yet on the racetrack. I figured the pace car would veer and speed up in front of him. And actually, I think they're maybe going to have to run another lap here back to start finish before he finally catches the pace car. And Jason, pit road's not going to open. They cannot make pit stops until they get summoned toe by toe behind the pace car. I think he's up in turn number 1 waiting.
Yeah, right now, I mean, everybody's kind of just scrambling. That's the thing about these road courses. When the caution comes out, when there happens to be a full course caution, everybody's everywhere. It's not like it's Talladega or Daytona or, you know, I don't know, Darlington, where, you know, everybody can slow down because it's a small track, you know. This is a big racetrack, you know, obviously besides the 1.5 mile, you know, cookie cutter type track like Charlotte is. This is a road course. So everybody's everywhere. You know, we had gaps all the way over 1.5 minutes. You know, and everybody tries to catch up to the leader now, but it looks like Ryan Bloom is starting to slow down. I actually think he might be waiting on the pace car, but everybody else is still about 1 minute behind. Not sure what's going on, but they're trying to reset the lineup here.
And by the way, Terry and Jason, you'll get a kick out of this. 25 through 31 were the numbers. Guess what determined the fate of a yellow flag? Random generator off of Google. Whatever number that was, which was 26, that's where the caution came out. Random number generator, not just needed for bingo.
This is very interesting because I believe Ryan Bloom missed the opening of pit road. Everybody from third on back, obviously without the conclusion of Paul Newton, came down pit lane on the initial wave when they came around. So the pit lights are on. So now Ryan Bloom's going to have to come down.
Where's the pace car? That's the question I'm asking. Where's the pace car? Because I honestly think that's what Ryan Bloom was waiting for. And, oh, wow, I wonder if there's a glitch here.
Stole it. I think a fan might have stolen it again. But now you see he's waiting on the field to catch him.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
So when he comes down, if the iRacing service is the same, he's going to take a black flag because he would come down on the second wave when the pits will not be open. So if he comes in pits, he's in the tail end, regardless of what he does.
Yeah, pit road isn't even open right now for him.
Pit road's not even open yet. That's what I can't figure out. Was the green light on when all the others came down to pit road?
Yeah,
it was.
Green light was on with the rest, but not for him.
The pace car had to have picked up Paul Newton, in my opinion. I believe that's what happened. I think the 25 was so far out front.
The pace car's in
there's
3.
The field. In turn 1, the field is in
there's
NASCAR
the pace
turn
car.
1. Bloom is either going to have to slow down or probably catch it, but he's more than likely going to get the black flag unless the officials try to work something out here with Bloom.
They're going to have to extend this caution because it's going to have to put a lap to put the leader of Ryan Bloom back in the lead. He's going to have to stop on the racetrack.
Right? I mean, he really didn't do anything wrong.
It's the iRacing service that'll do it. The way that the rule states in the sporting code is that if you pit or exit pit road when it's closed, so enter or exit, it is an automatic or an automatic stop and go on pit lane.
But he didn't pit, though.
But he
didn't pit.
On the first initial wave when it's open, you can pit, but if the pit lane's closed, even if you exit pit lane when it's closed, it's still a penalty. So we'll have to see what the what the officials say here, but this is huge because Ryan Bloom, fastest truck on the field, in my opinion, over the 27, is going to the back.
He got the gold mine and I got the shaft. We're going to take a quick break and they're going to sort this out. We'll be right back. Pace car, where are you? It's like car 54. We're back. Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
Your CRN, my CRN, our CRN. We are CRN. The Community Radio Network now and the new WCRN 87.9 FM. And still always anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN. Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
So if this race couldn't have any more of a crazy turn of events, blame it on that car in front of everybody that finally has the lights off, the pace car. We are thinking that as soon as they come back to green, they're going to throw the caution back out. Ryan Bloom did pit during commercial break, but the question is now, Terry, how do they sort this out in letting him get back into his spot, or is he going to be at the rear of the field? Right now, timing and scoring has him in P1, but he's on pit road.
Well, if timing and scoring is correct, which I believe that it is, he's got a hellacious lead. And you're going to let him go. You better let him go. Because he's sitting there. He's holding the penalty. That's the penalty, 40 seconds.
Wow. And the field is actually getting ready to come off a NASCAR turn 3 and 4 and take the green flag. The only thing I'm thinking is the admins for the Northwest Racing Series are going to let them trigger green and then trigger the caution back. But they got to take the green. I can't tell what they're doing. We're back to green here. The race
He's still on pit lane.
We're green. We're green flag. And now Bloom has fell all the way, sliding away from the penthouse to the outhouse. We're green flag here. Pace car stays on pit road. This race is getting back underway. Ryan Bloom is all the way in the back, and the leader is Newton in turn number 2.
Well, he still hasn't left pit lane. He's been on pit lane for 2 minutes and 35 seconds. He's now exiting pit lane, and, well, for any Ryan Bloom fan out there, it's a 20-second gap back up to the race leader, Paul Newton. That was a massive penalty for the 25 for doing nothing wrong. You know, in my opinion, he passed pit lane, which the lights were still on red. You can't enter pit lane when it's closed. You can't exit it when it's closed. You're right. You know, Paul Newton got handed the gold mine, and for Bloom, he got shafted hard.
Good song by Jerry Reed. They're back in front of you heading to NASCAR, the NASCAR track. Well, I'll pick it up. Here they come into turn number 3 with Newton out in front. It is Dan West Jr. second, Stab now third. Ryan Bloom all the way back on the lead lap. He is on the lead lap, but he's in 11, 17, 18 seconds back The leaders cross the line. We're working down 25 laps to go here at the ROVAL. They're back into turn 1 in front of you, Terry Radford.
If I'm the 25, I'm lighting that radio up. I'm talking to an official of some sort because it should be him, Paul Newton, and the 55 of Dan West Jr. fighting for this place lead right now. As you see the 55, he kind of gets a little hot into turn 1, exits 2, goes into 3. A little bit of a sideways battle here, but the 55 doing a great job. Worked his way into P2, and he's able to hold it. Granted, there was a little bit of confusion here, but he's not letting Paul Newton walk away just yet.
Yeah, I mean, like Terry said, if I were the 25 with Ryan Bloom, I'd be lighting up that radio for sure. It's just unfortunate what happened to him, but you never know. Maybe we will see a caution, you know, and hopefully he'll be able to get back up to the car. But yeah, we're hearing no more caution regardless, so that's unfortunate for him. He'll have hope for a miracle. Right now, Paul Newton continuing his march at the front of the field. He's got Dan West Jr. though right on his back bumper, about 0.8 of a second back in the 13th.
Best battle on the racetrack now, exiting off the chicane in NASCAR turn number 3, entering the racetrack. Sean Reitzman, John Audenbacher, Dennis Moore, who, by the way, missed last week's opener playoff race at Auto Club. He is all the way in a big bind. So is Cole Raz, not here tonight, 2 weeks in a row. Oh, and the Auto Club winner, Stephen O'Hare, he's absent as well. But it doesn't matter. Terry Radford, he wanted Auto Club. He punches his ticket next in the round of 8. He is not here, but it doesn't matter as all these other drivers are fighting and clawing for position around the ROVAL to try to make it in the Fast 8.
Yeah, and what makes me happy to see on the board is to see purple. And for fans at home that are listening to the radio or watching it on YouTube, when you see purple light up on your screen, that means that they set the fastest lap of the race. And that was the fastest lap of the race right there for Paul Newton with a 1:21.25. He's 0.3 of a second faster than Dan West Jr.'s fastest time, and he's 0.2 of a second faster than Ryan Bloom's fastest time with the 1:21.4.
Yeah, 55 right now, though, as we head back to the battle for the lead now. The 55 is closed in on the 27. He's about 0.3 of a second back as they head into turn number 11 through 12. Now the 55 all over the bumper. He's just going to have to be really consistent if he wants to keep up with the 27 of Newton.
How important is this battle now between those drivers of Paul Newton and Dan West Jr.? Well, on the racetrack, they're fighting for the lead in 2. For the championship, it is for the final 8th position. Dan West Jr. came in with a 4-point lead over Paul Newton. It is all about positions gained and earned on the track there, Terry, as he works to turn 1.
Yeah, he's beating him on the heavy braking zones. That's kind of been Paul Newton's weak spot, is the inner portion of this racetrack. But for the 55, we really haven't seen top 2 speed. No disrespect to the 55, but he was fighting for 3rd and 4th not too long ago. But now he's up here in a position, has fresh tires on it. Can he wheel that 55 machine to the lead? Can he stay on the back bumper here of Paul Newton? As now they've worked through the last portion, last turn of the inside of the road course, we head back to the NASCAR track.
Yeah, if I were the 55, if Dan West Jr. gets really loose there, heading out of turn 8 up to the top of turn 9, great save by him. But if I were the 55 of Dan West Jr., I'd be just following the 27 of Newton. Newton already made a mistake earlier on in the race and lost the lead and went back 4 seconds. If I were the 55, just follow 27 and hope for the best.
Charles, I don't know if real quickly you can put the points up on the standings. I was given an analogy of where the drivers of Newton and Dan West Jr. are as they work their way back to the start-finish line. And there you see what I was telling you about for the folks that are watching on our broadcast. That is why it is so important to see Dan West Jr. And Paul Newton holding Dan West Jr. at bay right now in those 2022 playoffs. And mind you also, Terry, as they work back through the road course part of the track, they are also in that final bubble spot to make the Fast 8.
Well, and Caden Anderson isn't here either, so this is a great run for Dan West Jr. He's going to have a pretty decent lead over Caden Anderson going into the next race next week. So, you know, all is not lost if he doesn't win this race. He won't necessarily secure his spot in the next round, but he's looking really good to do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's only going to be 2 races left after tonight from my knowledge, to get into the next round of the playoffs. And if your drivers didn't show up tonight, you're going to have to come out here these next 2 races and perform like Caden Anderson and Cole Raz, who I believe is not. Yeah, Cole Raz is not here tonight either. You know, and Dennis Moore, who's had a tough night, bottom of the barrel for him right now in the playoffs. He right now runs in 10th, but you gotta be here for these next 2 races if you want to earn points.
It, without a doubt, will be fun coming up. Iowa, short track, you race like a big track next Thursday night, Monday night for the Cup cars, and then Kentucky also as the leaders work their way off of the turtles, off of the chicane, off the front straightaway here at the Roval. They go back to the Tums heartburn turn number 1, and Dan West Jr., driver left, coming through. Can't get the crossover. His new leader in the 55 is Dan West Jr., Terry.
He must be watching the broadcast, because, man, I feel like I criticized him a little bit, but I did say with all due respect, so theoretically I could say whatever I wanted at that moment, but, you know, he's been consistent this race.
Wow.
He's done what he's wanted to do. The 55 he's drifted it sideways multiple times, but look at him. He's laying fast lap times down. He was almost a second faster than Paul Newton.
I tell you what, he might have been listening to me, actually, Terry, because all I said is he has to follow the 27 of Newton, and sure enough, he did. He got right past him through turn 1. Great overtake there through the Tums heartburn turn, and now as they head down the back straightaway into 11 and 12, it's going to be a matter of if he's going to be able to hold that 27 at bay now as they work out at 12 and 27 right on the bumper, put up 2 car lengths in between them.
Dan West Jr., the leader now. He has not won a race on the series this year. Best finish has been a couple of 3s, 3 hat-trick third-place finishes at New Hampshire, Coda, Texas, but no win. And by the way, if he wins, the number 8 seed will go to number 2 behind Stephen O'Hare. 20 to go. Terry, the leaders are in the corner, and Newton is losing ground on Dan West Jr.
Yeah, he's actually gapping him. Dan West Jr. is gapping Paul Newton into turn 1. The inner portion of this racetrack has not been very kind to the 27 here so far. I don't know if it's something that, you know, maybe Paul Newton's attacking it a little bit harder or just a little bit softer. He's not wanting to be aggressive on the tires, not wanting to light them up as much. But that 55 is looking really, really good in the infield.
Yeah, absolutely, Terry, for sure. The 55 so good getting in, but the 27 is so good on exit. That seems to be where he's able to find that speed. Now a little bit of a draft wing out of NASCAR turn 2, heading for 11 and 12. That last lap around, Newton was about 7/10 slower than Dan West Jr. So if he wants to try to reclaim that lead, he's going to have to follow the 55 and work his way around him very quickly.
Off of turn number 3, working turn 4, 20 laps to go. Now will be 19 remaining here at the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Round number 2 of the Northwest Racing Series Truck Playoffs. As we saw West and Newton going at it, this is now Ryan Bloom getting around Audenbacher. He now climbs up to 8th position, somehow, some way, trying to get back through the field after a controversial penalty. In my opinion, I call bull on it. The man is trying to grab the bull by the horns after that Boise State Broncos machine went from number 1 all the way to the back, and somehow Ryan Bloom, he is in the top 10. He is in 8th, but he is 20 seconds back to the leaders.
You know, sometimes you're the winner and sometimes you're the loser. And unfortunately for Ryan Bloom, today, he got the losing end of the stick because he was in contention to win this race. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Paul Newton. I'm not taking anything away from Dan West Jr. But when you look at that 25 machine, that Bronco Ford, class of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to look at it like this. Coming into tonight, Ryan Bloom was the highest points driver that hasn't advanced. Obviously, Stephen O'Hare won the last race of the Northwest Truck Series, and he's advanced into the next round. But Bloom was the highest guy who's not locked in. So, yeah, that's a positive for him. Negative for him, though, that he's not having such a good night here tonight. But, you know, he might be able to pick up a few positions here as the race progresses.
Clifford, Toby Ritter's upside, under attack now by Ryan Bloom from the drone cam the tunnel turn here at Charlotte. Tunnel turn also at turn 3 off the chicane. Off of turn 17, back to start finish line. 17 laps to go now for the drivers here as they work their way, or 18 to go, correction, the Thunder Road. Budweiser, number 23. Toby Ritters, Terry, a good run for him and a solid top 10, but he just got passed by Ryan Bloom for 7th.
Yeah, that was a very respectful move there by Toby Ritters. He understands that Ryan Bloom got handed the short end of the stick and just let him go. It's like, hey, I'm not going to hold you up. There's no sense in me racing you. I'm just back here. I'm trying to be consistent and trying to have a good run. Shout out to the people who are still showing up that are non-playoff drivers. They're out here trying to get some momentum for next season. And Ritter's doing a great job as it goes to Jason.
Yeah, he is doing a great job here tonight. You know, very quiet. Haven't really mentioned him. Definitely one of the best looking trucks in the field here tonight for the folks listening on CRN. That 23 truck is absolutely beautiful with the chrome Budweiser look with the white trim at the bottom of the side skirts. I absolutely love that paint scheme. Just definitely shines out more than any other truck. He's having a great night here tonight running an 8.
Yeah, kind of chroma key candy apple red design on that 23 truck for Thunder Road. And all of this going on here is you see Ottenbacher trying to reel in Ritters as they work to the line. 17 laps to go. There is also now Sean Breitzman. He's in the top 5. Kevin Smith trying to run him down, Terry, inside of the Bank of America road course.
Well, there's a lot of things in my broadcasting career that I can say that I've either A, wanted to check off the box, or B, I never thought that I would put on the box to check, and that would be the producer saying a Trace Atkins chrome in my ear. We can check that off the list of things that has happened in my ear as Sean Breitzman works his way back off the corner. He goes back to the 3 and 4 with Jason Rockefeller.
46, though, having a great night here tonight. Sean Breitzman, another driver who's been just kind of quietly creeping into the picture, worked his way up to the top 5 in that number 46 Toyota machine as he works into turns 11 and 12. A little bit of right side damage there. No harm, no foul, but right now, Kevin Smith trying to reel him back in. That last time around, he was about 0.3 of a second off.
Jeff Stabnow, by the way, one of the drivers, we mentioned drivers, Terry, that are not in the championship race running. Well, you got guys like Dan West Jr., Paul Newton, and of course, Sean Breitzman, all championship contenders. But for a guy like Devin West and even Jeff Stabnow, what a solid run for the 24. Billings, Montana, Jeff Stabnow doing a great job inside the top 5 and 4th.
You know, I'm going to tell our producer, Charles Wooten, to get out of my head because I looked up and I saw Jeff Stabnow was sitting in P4, and I said, damn, I can't wait to get to next turn 1 because I want to talk about the 24 and what a run he's having so far in this race. He has set top 6, top 7 all race long, and there is barely any marks on that 24 machine.
Yeah, just a little bit of right side damage there. Scraped up the number 24 there on the right side door, but what a great run for Jeff. You know, not a driver who's in the playoffs here, but he's having a quiet night. Running in 4th, up 2 spots from, I believe, where he started now as he works his way into the chicane on the backstretch in 11 and 12. Great night here for him tonight. You know, interested to see how he takes the next few races here before the end of the season. But what a run here for that driver, the 24 team.
Getting ready to come to the line and 15 to go. By the way, don't be cussing on this here broadcast. I ain't paying for no FCC fees. It's 15 laps to go as the leaders work their way back to turn number 16 and 17. Shut up. To the line, 15 to go. West, Newton, West, Stabnow, Breitzman. Sounds like a law firm, Terry. It's all coming out of control thanks to the producer into turn 1 and 2.
It's good to have him back, though, right? We've missed him for a couple weeks, and he's back, and he's causing nothing but pure chaos on here.
Chaos and mayhem.
That's all it is. It's just like the ROVAL, chaos and I don't know about the beef jerky part, but it's just chaos out here. Everybody's slipping and sliding. You're starting to see the 24 get chased down by the 46 of Sean Breitzman. Shout out to like a lot of these drivers here. You see these drivers sitting in the top 5, in the top 7, and it's just like, wow, way to put a race together.
Yeah, absolutely. And Charles just said he had a Red Bull some beef jerky here. And I tell you what, Sean Brightsman must have had a Red Bull. Sean Brightsman must have had a Red Bull here tonight, because that's giving him some wings right now, because he's flying right now, running a little bit faster than the leaders right now, about half a second faster as he works his way through 11 and 12. Would not be surprised if he picks off that 24 of Stabnow.
Well, wings are for birds, as Jeff Stabnow right now is in the number 4 position, and he is soaring higher up the banking. What a solid run for him. Brightsman looks inside, he looks outside, trying to make a run through the rumble strips, two-wheeling the truck off of turn number 17, and close it in. 14 to go. Stabnow, Brightsman, couple of teammates of Team LSRTV, CRN going at it into turn number 2, Terry.
I don't know where we lost the rails of this race, but this is getting good, because I mean, this has been what a typical road course race is on iRacing. It's a little bit more strung out, but you start to see battles start to develop themselves, and now the battle for 4th is really starting to heat up as the 24 of Stabnow had to back that corner up a tad bit more, swings at driver's right, swings at back driver's left, and then works their way back into the NASCAR portion.
Yeah, Brightsman's just able to close the gap into the corners better than Stabnow for sure, as they work their way around turns 9 and 10 now, hitting the back straightaway. You see here for the folks at home watching, Brightsman's going to get in a little bit deeper than Stabnow here as they enter the braking zone, closes in about 2 car lengths more than Stabnow. But Jeff is just able to get off the corners a little bit better, but Brightsman, though, still right there, about 3 car lengths back.
Stabnow, Brightsman battle inside the top 5. This is for 4th and 5th. This game continues. A cat and mouse inside of a dark alley running for cover. They come through again the Toyota restart zone into 16 and 17 through the chicane back to the line. You've got now a dozen laps remaining here at the ROVAL. 13 to go now with West, Newton. They're gone. This is the best battle on the racetrack, bar none, as we hit the home stretch tonight, Terry Radford.
And if you look now, and we saw the shot coming to the start-finish line there over Jeff Stabnow's front bumper, you can start to see a Bronco show up behind him. So not out of the question that we could potentially see Ryan Bloom drive his way from 11th back up to 4th. He's got a rocket ship. He's almost a second faster than the drivers in front of him. The last time he ran by, he ran a 1:23.1. Well, he's running a full second faster than the driver in front of him, and it's a second faster than Stabnow too.
Yeah, we talked earlier tonight, you know, after the whole iRacing incident with the caution flags, just, you know, a product of how road course racing is when there's a caution. Very unfortunate circumstances for the 25 of Ryan Bloom. But like you said, Terry, he could pick up a couple positions here as the race progresses. We're coming to 12 laps to go this time by. He could possibly end up in the top 5 by the end of this race.
Yeah, I got a lap ahead, everybody. Coming up now on a dozen laps remain here at the ROVAL. If you want to make a run to the front, you better go. You better go now. Ryan Bloom now after Kevin Smith through the chicane off the Toyota restart zone off of turn number 17. Back to start finish line. This is the battle now for position number 6 and 7. Ryan Bloom and attaboy Terry trying to make something out of nothing on bad luck that, by the way, wasn't his fault as we come to the home stretch of the ROVAL.
Well, if you got a bottle of vodka and you got a bottle of lemonade, you better make a really, really good mixed drink. And for Ryan Bloom, it's the race that could have been.
And that's the beef jerky.
Yeah, there's a beef jerky too.
Maybe a Red Bull too.
Maybe a Red Bull with it, but this is a race that he could have won. He should have won. Still taking nothing away from Dan West Jr., who is almost 2 seconds ahead of Paul Newton. But the 25 should have won this race if he would have stayed out front there.
Yeah, like we talked about, just an unfortunate circumstances for him. But right now, he's about to pick up another position to the inside of Kevin Smith, rounding turn number 10 here as they hit the back straightaway. They're side by side, coming back up to the wall. Ryan Bloom picks up that 6th spot over Kevin Smith now as they work their way through the chicane at a 12, power down all the way to the floorboard here as they work the 13.
I know these trucks look like they're very similar to one another by their wrap jobs, but they are not. Of course, the only thing that is in similarity is the playoff banner and the yellow spoiler on the back of those trucks to signify who are playoff contenders. Hey, by the way, while all this is happening Jeff Stabnow trying to hold off Sean Brightsman with 11 to go for fourth. Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, Terry right behind him. He's reeling him in like bait on a hook.
Oh yeah, they're coming. And for Jeff Stabnow right there, for Jeff Stabnow right there, he's using a lot of the curb. He's using more curb than we've seen any other driver use so far. And I'll take you back in the NASCAR days when Martin Truex Jr. was leading the race and Jimmy Johnson was fighting for a playoff spot. Martin used some curb as Brightsman gets to drivers right here, and that's not going to work going into the final corner. But Martin Truex Jr. used the curb. Jimmy Johnson used Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah, that was an interesting race. I absolutely loved that race.
I was there for that race.
Yeah, I mean, me being a Ryan Blaney fan, I was going absolutely ballistic. That was just an awesome finish, you know, from a non-biased perspective. But yeah, I mean, that's very well what could happen to a lot of these drivers when they're battling. You use up too much curb, you create wheel spin. That truck doesn't like to sit down off the curbs too pretty there. So very interesting. You could see more of that here.
The field will make their way back out of turn number 3. Sean Brightsman for fourth spot. Hugs the bottom of the racetrack. Now they work their way back into turn number 16, 17, where that famed incident happened to the checkered flag between Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr. And out of nowhere, Ryan Blaney become the inaugural winner of the ROVAL. And by the way, open double hands from your flagman. 10 to go here as this battle continues for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th down into the corner in front of you, Terry.
Yeah, you're not missing anything for the lead. It's 1.6 seconds now, make it 1.8 seconds as you look on board with Sean Brightsman. You see Jeff Stabnow, he gets loose back there. It's going to allow Ryan Bloom to get the run here, who has arguably been the best in the inner portion of this racetrack. And Jeff Stabnow, he's fighting for dear life right now. That thing looks really, really, really loose. I thought he almost slapped the wall there, Jason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and we're still talking about food, I guess, and drinks. If I were Ryan Bloom, he might eat a Snickers bar after this race as well, because he is setting the fastest lap times down here as the race winds down. He's about 0.2 of a second, not more, faster than your leader. So, like you said, Terry, it's a race that what could have been for Ryan Bloom, but those point cushions there could pay a factor later on in this round.
On board with the captain, Jeff Stabnow, the Billings, Montana entry driver, a solid top 5 tonight. But will someone else run him down? Ryan Bloom coming after him from the rear deck lid of the camera angle off of the Toyota zone. Here comes Bloom, reeling him in. He is there, 9 to go. This battle heating up for the number 5 spot there. Terry and the Tums, heartburn, turn number 1, hold on.
Oh, that almost got scary. It got scary quick. I talked about Stabnow using a little bit more curb right there, coming out of the final corner. He jumped a little bit. He caught the curb, and when he planted back down, it's like what Jason was talking about with the wheel spin. He didn't really want to get forward bite in the rear, so he just parked the bus right there coming off the final corner, and that allowed Ryan Bloom to get around him, and he had to make abrasive action because he was in the middle of the track, so it was either hit the wall or hit the 24. I think the 25 said, you know what, I'm just going to try to take it 2 wide into 1.
Yeah, the 24, though, right now struggling just a little bit. He's going to come up to the wall, block the 00 as a crossover move is made by the 00 Kevin Smith. Now they're side by side at a turn 10. Give that position to Kevin Smith. He moves up to the 6th spot now. They work their way into the chicane. The 24 follows. Kevin Smith, though, using a little bit more curve than the 24. At a 12 now, power back down. Kevin Smith up to the 6th spot.
8 laps now, make it 7 laps to go. The interval now from Dan West Jr. to Paul Newton, 2.5 seconds. Dan West Jr. is 11 seconds back. This is the battle now between, of course, little sideways, Jeff Stabnow, Kevin Smith, they're going at it. Ryan Bloom now after Sean Brightsman. I don't know if he has enough time there. 8 to go at the ROVAL, Terry.
Yeah, I don't know if the 25 is going to necessarily catch up here, but he potentially will, because Brightsman, he's been running very consistent laps. It was 123.33 to a 123.35, so right on par with what these two are doing. They are a little bit slower than the race leader, but they're faster than Devin Smith in the 5 that's in front of him, but it's a 6-second gap all the way up there to them.
Yeah, I'm still looking for Ryan Bloom to try to pick off the 46 of Breitzman here and get up into the top 4 because he's about almost 3 seconds back, and he could do it. It's not impossible. He's been the fastest truck here late in this run as the 46 gets a little bit loose there, using a lot of curb through the chicane. Going to be interesting to see, though, if Ryan Bloom is able to catch him. He's now down to a 2.66 gap between him and Breitzman.
I'll take you to the rest of the race to the checkered flag, and then Jason and Terry will handle the finish line post-race wrap-up as I'll be on the road heading to Virginia. By the way, finish line live from the $50,000 Fast Track World Championship presented by Dealer Group USA. Finish line live motorsports show tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Possibly Saturday. Check all of your programming affiliates for iRacing, LSRTV, and CRN Sports, Fox Sports Radio in the Carolinas, and more. This is 7 laps to go, Terry. Sean Breitzman looks like he is running out of tread on those tires, or can you say slick?
Very slick, because he lost 0.6 of a second back there, and he's sliding through these corners in the inside portion. He almost loses it there. He goes to driver's right. He makes the left-hander, and he is slideways all the way through it in front of you, Jason.
Yeah, all the way through turn 8. He's just drifting in here. You might as well just consider him a Formula Drift driver here the remainder of the race, because he's slip and slide all over this road course, and this is enabling Ryan Bloom to reel it in down to a 1.28 second gap between those two drivers now as they head through 11. The 46 almost overshoots it, but look at Ryan Bloom, closes up 2.3 now. He's almost going to pick off the 46 of Bright.
Back into turn number 3. All of this going on here. And by the way, we are hearing from some of our radio transmissions, some of these drivers might not be able to go the distance on fuel. We will have to check that out for you and keep a track of it. But right now, Terry, just another amazing story developing here with 6 to go here at the ROVAL.
Well, I tell you one driver, we're riding with him. There's no way in my mind that the 25 can't make it on fuel with as much fuel that went in that truck, and he was 2 laps later on fuel compared to it. And what happened in the last fuel mileage race that we ran at Watkins Glen? Oh yeah, the guy sitting P2 won it because the leader ran out and Paul Newton didn't, and he wins this race. So maybe Paul Newton with a 2-second gap to the race leader, maybe he's saving a little fuel, Jason.
He definitely might be. I want to put that as a factor here for the remaining 6 laps right now. See, he works his way through NASCAR 1 and 2. Bloom is about a 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds faster than the leader of Dan West Jr. So I wonder if maybe they are saving fuel at the front. Paul Newton's gap keeps kind of dwindling between 2. Oh, a little bit loose there. 46 super loose, able to save it though. This opens the door wide for the 25 through NASCAR 3.
And what a save by Sean Breitzman, but also Ryan Bloom to be aware. Get on the binders, but quickly back at speed. He clears the 46 as they work turns 16 and 17 through the chicane to the line. 5 laps to go. Here is Charlotte in the ROVAL, round 2 of the playoffs, and a playoff driver in the number 8 seed looking for his first win, the 2-time defending Truck Series champion. DWJ leads the way. Time is running out, though, and we got to wonder if they got enough fuel, Terry.
Yeah, we can't necessarily hand the jacket and the trophy over to Dan West Jr., but it's looking pretty good. If he can manage the tires, manage the fuel, maybe doing a little clutching, maybe a little coasting going through the inner portions of this track, you have a little bit of, not a whole lot of elevation change, but just a little bit that you can coast down, especially coming out of 4 down the hill to 5, 6, 7. You should be able to kind of play with the throttle a tad bit more, but man, this 46, Jason, he's almost hit everything.
Yeah, he almost just clipped the inside retaining wall there at a turn number 8. I wonder if we could get possibly a shot on board with the 55 or 27. They might be saving fuel, especially the 27, because right now it was about a 1.5 seconds. Now it's about 2.5 seconds, if not more, right now. So they might be saving a little bit of fuel here with just under 4 to go.
Yeah, watching them now as they work back into the corner. This is on board with Dan West Jr. burping the throttle. I'm thinking, Terry, boy, no, hey, keep it off the wall.
Yeah, he's not really going hard. He's not mashing the throttle like some people like to do into 1, but he goes down into 3 right here. He's taking a very low approach. Oh, man. Yeah, he's driving that sucker. That's what I'm talking about. That's racing. These things are handling real good. He's just slide it. Look, you have to wheel it here, put a little bit of wheel in it, kick it back to the right a little bit, turn to left, turn to right, really wheel it. Man, I'm over here driving it like I'm behind it. Oh, he taps the wall a tad bit there, burps it. Jason, he's all over the track in front of you.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him run right now. The 47 of Chris White, great job by him. Great sportsmanship, letting that driver of Dan West Jr. let him right by now. Knows that he's battling for a win, and this could be a clutch win for him. Dan West Jr. right now is right on that bubble. This could get him into the next round of the playoffs if he is able to hang on to the lead, but it's about a 1.9 second gap between him and Newton.
Just how sharp that turn was for him working off of the chicane on the NASCAR turn 3 here in Charlotte at the ROVAL. And Dan West Jr. somehow wheeling and dealing. Problems for Chris White, smoking. He might have blew an engine. His truck is coming down to the pit lane. He has locked up the truck. He missed the entrance onto the chicane. He has locked up the truck. He's onto the pit lane. 3 laps to go. All of this happening. By the way, the leader, Dan West Jr., has about now close to a 2-second lead on Paul Newton Terry.
He did blow that motor. It looks like he money shifted there. He went down into the wrong gear. He's smoking like crazy on pit lane. There's no doubt in my mind that when he was coming off the chicane to the back, that he just probably moneyed it down into first and hit the gas really hard. Blew the motor, still putting tires on it, but he ain't pulling out of there anytime soon. Motor work to be done on that one. But for Paul Newton and Dan West Jr., with 3 to go, Paul Newton was semi-catching him, Jason.
Yeah, right now the gap's about 1 second and 7 tenths right now. No trucks in between them. Doesn't look like there could be any trucks in front of them, maybe. No, clear track ahead of them, so it's all Paul Newton. This is his time to shine. They're coming to 2 laps to go. It is a very, very big what if for Paul Newton if he's going to be able to get back to the 55 of Dan West Jr.
Yeah, Paul Newton has put the afterburners on now. I think he's in stealth mode, looking for that 4th win of the year in all road courses. If you count tonight being a ROVAL track / road course. For Dan West Jr., it would be his 1st win of the season. The number 8 seed will climb to the number 2 seed behind Stephen O'Hare. Or he might be up more because Stephen O'Hare was not here tonight. Nonetheless, those drivers advance, and Sean Brightsman now in a nice, comfortable drive in the top 5. Ryan Bloom, though, in front of him. All the while, they are working their way, Terry, through the road course in turn number 1 and 2. 2 laps to go. It is home stretch time for DWJ.
Yeah, it is home stretch time for him, but I wouldn't be surprised. You look back here at 3 and 4. I wouldn't be surprised if the 25 is able to leapfrog into P3 because he's really catching. He's a second behind Devin West right there, and Devin's been kind of slow. It's 2 seconds faster for Ryan Bloom.
Man, I tell you what, if I were Dan West Jr., just be really easy with that truck. When we were on board on the helmet cam with him, he was slipping and sliding everywhere. He's got about a 2-second gap right now. You know, about 1.5 laps to go right here. He's doing a great job keeping it on the racetrack, but he's got to really just stay on that racetrack because the 27 of Newton is right there to pounce if he makes a mistake.
Dan West Jr., the Shelton, Washington native, hits that 55 Chevrolet down to the bottom of the racetrack, hugging off NASCAR turn 3 and 4, works through the Toyota starter zone, now to turn 17, sees the white flag from the starter stand. 1 more lap to go, the CRN 1 to go. Dan West Jr., 2-time defending series champion, trying to punch his ticket from the round of 8 now. Terry, final time.
Yeah, final time through the inside portion of this racetrack in the 55. Mr. Where did he come from? Ran in the top 5 all race long, but was very quiet, very consistent, and capitalized when he needed to. Understood that Paul Newton really wasn't as strong as what he's been on the road courses prior. And Dan West Jr., hey, you got a 2-second lead. Take her easy. You ain't got a slider just yet. Save some tires for the burnout, man.
Yeah, absolutely. What a fantastic drive by Dan West Jr. Can't believe he was able to get past the 27 of Paul Newton, let alone on a green flag run. He just went to the bottom of 1 and 2 and just said, see you later. He drove off. I mean, what a clutch win for him here tonight, if he can hang on to it. Always the possibility of lockup, handful of turns left to go, but right now, it's smooth sailing right now. DWJ could be looking for a win to the next round of the playoffs.
Dan West Jr., final time into turn number 3. He will be looking for the checkered flag after 3 races this year of hat-trick third-place podiums. He is finally going to come to the line. Final turn. Dan West Jr. wins here at the ROVAL at Charlotte. Round 2 of the playoffs in the round of 12. He punches his ticket to the round of 8. And the 2-time and defending Northwest Truck Series champion is back on top of the world.
Impressive drive, and we'll go back here looking at the battle for coming to the line. Bloom's going to end up finishing 4th. He was 0.4 of a second behind Devin West, so good rebound for the 25 machine, but not the race that they wanted. But for Paul Newton and Dan West Jr., man, Jason, they put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just talked about it before when we were calling that last lap. I mean, what a run by Dan West Jr. You had 2 drivers. You had Ryan Bloom and Paul Newton. We sat here in the first half of the race before everything happened thinking those 2 drivers were going to be the ones to beat. Paul Newton makes a mistake. Ryan Bloom capitalizes. Issue happens via iRacing. Ryan Bloom drops to the back. Paul Newton has the lead because he's short pit. Dan West Jr. straight up dives it into turn 1, picks up the lead. What a great piece of driving by that 55 here tonight. And what a win.
Well, we thought Paul Newton got the gold mine when Ryan Bloom got the shaft, but actually that changes to Dan West Jr., the driver out of Shelton, Washington, one of the champions 2 years in a row. Been kind of a quiet regular season for the man of the number 55 for West Racing, iRacing, LSRTV, and CRN. And now he wins round 2. He was in the number 8 seed when this race started tonight. Obviously, what a battle between him and Paul Newton, not just for the race win, but also for points on the track. And for Dan West Jr., they are now getting ready to officially cross the start-finish line, and the celebration's about to begin. The Northwest ROVAL high-five salute. Any takers to bonsai at him first? Son Devin West, here he comes. Boom! Little love tap. Who else is coming after him? Oh, no. There you go.
Ryan Bloom. Talladega.
Yes, sir. It's our Northwest high five salute. We call this the high five salute because Demolition Derby doesn't match. But Onenbacher just did. He's airborne. Oh my goodness, Sean Brightsman.
He's in the grandstands.
Whoa, the leader's upside down. Oh yes. Yeah, we call this the Northwest high five salute here. And of course, the proverbial teammate, Jeff Stab, now put it in a nice T-bone, and I don't mean steak, on the driver door of the 55. Sean Brightsman, he's in reverse. No! Oh. So much hype for nothing. Hey, we're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification on the Community Radio Network. But first, let's take a look at the unofficial results from the Charlotte Motor Speedway ROVAL. Dan West Jr. picking up the win. Paul Newton 3.33 seconds back in second. Devin West third. Ryan Bloom, such heartbreak for him. If we had the opportunity to have a Northwest Goodies Headache Powders of the Race Award, it would have to go to Ryan Bloom. And probably some Blue MU for maximum pain relief after being dejected as well. Sean Brightsman will finish in the top 5. Kevin Smith, Jeff Stapp, now Toby Ritters, Dennis Moore, John Onenbacher, a top 10 finish. Terry at the ROVAL.
You got Frank Harris back there 1 lap down with Chris White behind him in 12th, BJ Tedrick in 13th, Troy Daggett in 14th, Tyler King 53 laps down back in 15th, Rafe Fournier in 16th, Carl Burke, James Vining, and Ron Hunter did not start on the day. They were out at 18th and 19th.
Yeah, pretty frustrating day for those drivers as again, but it's said and done. Dan West Jr. picking up the win, the 2-time defending Truck Series champion. If you are going to start showing your strengths to try to go for a hat-trick championship in the Northwest Trucks, he did it perfectly here tonight at the ROVAL. We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on iRacing on LSRTV and CRN, the Community Radio Network. Post-race is coming up next as well.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
John Jason Rockefeller calling the action of the NASCAR turns in the Bank of America infield road course at the ROVAL was, of course, Terry Radford. I am Wesley Outland. Great work behind the scenes by Mr. Charles Wooten for Rocket Media and for our broadcast coverage. They are going to carry you for the remainder of post-race, grabbing interviews. Terry, Jason, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And by the way, remember, Finish Line Live Motorsports Show tomorrow. Check it out on YouTube and Facebook and Fox Sports Radio affiliates in the Carolinas, live from Virginia Motor Speedway. Safe travels to everybody heading up to Jamaica. I'm getting ready to drive right now, and Terry and Jason will carry you the rest of the way for tonight's playoff race. Congratulations again to Dan West Jr. And, of course, also in addition to that, the ROVAL is done for Cup and Truck. We now prepare for Iowa next Monday and Thursday. And don't forget, Sunday night, it is the Virginia Virtual 300 at Martinsville for the Major Series American Sportsman. We'll have that iRacing on LSRTV and CRN Sports beginning Sunday night live at 7:45 Eastern Time. We have a quick break. When we return, Terry and Jason grab the top three here at the ROVAL.
Welcome back to the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway for the post-race show for the Northwest Truck Series. I'm Terry Radford, joined alongside Jason Rockefeller. I'm standing by with the race winner, Dan West Jr. in the 55. Dan, congratulations. And was this the track that you thought you were getting the first win of the season at?
Not at all. Not when you got drivers like Paul and Ryan out there that are, setting smoking laps. And I have a lot of respect for Paul Newton. I mean, that guy, at the end there, I just seriously thought, well, he's just saving his stuff, letting me go. And I thought I was a sitting duck towards the end there because my stuff was done. And so my thing that I was just focusing on was just not slide the tires. So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm stoked to finally get a win this year. It's been a tough season, but I also got to beat a guy I have a lot of respect for, so that was a good time.
Always a good race to win, especially if you come to a track that you had some road ringers, and I guess we could put Paul Newton and Ryan Bloom in the road ringer category. Well, they've won all the road courses this season so far. So yeah. You go next week to Iowa. We go to the Corn State. What's your confidence level? Scale to 1 to 10. You're already advanced, so you're going to race in the next round of the championship. You're going to throw caution to the wind, or are you going to be a little bit more reserved back there at Iowa?
Well, I'm going to go have fun. I mean, I feel like when you race hard and get a win, you deserve to go and just have fun and race hard again. So I have nothing to lose. Obviously, you show respect for the drivers that are going for the playoffs or in the playoffs. So, but I really like Iowa. I feel like I do well at that track. So I'm going there to win.
That's what I like to hear. Well, Dan, floor is yours. Thank those sponsors. Tell everybody across the country that what makes that car go around the track.
I'd like to thank Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV. You guys up in the booth are incredible. I really like to go back and watch the races and listen to you guys' commentary. Northwest Racing Series, Jeff and Sean do a ton behind the scenes that people don't realize, and I really appreciate them. My team, I wouldn't have been able to build a road course set without them. So we were kind of questioning the set, and they told me it was good, and I still questioned him, and it wasn't too bad. It was a decent set, so it allowed a non-road course guy to get comfortable out there and get in a rhythm. So I appreciate them very much. Thanks, guys.
Well, everybody, that's Dan West Jr., the winner here at the Charlotte Roval. And Jason, you're standing by with the P2 guy, the fastest lap of the race, Mr. Paul Newton.
Well, Paul, we said that it was a what could have been for Ryan Bloom. It sure enough was a what could have been for you. You and Dan West heading into turn number 1. He was able to get clear of you. What more could you have done to try to get back to the leader there in those last few laps, my friend?
Well, I don't know. I think Dan West kind of surprised me with his pace at the end there. Yeah, I think I missed on the setup a little bit. I think I missed my marks a little bit. I just didn't quite have enough to catch up to him. So hats off to Dan West Jr. He drove an outstanding race. He deserved the win today. And yeah, that's how it is.
Well, sure enough, was a great drive for you here tonight. And coming into this race, you were outside of the bubble looking in. You had a great run here tonight. These next few races that are going to be set up here for the remainder of the round of 12, what do you and your team need to do for those remaining races to make sure that you guys make the next round?
Well, we're going to have to lean on Dennis for his setup work. I know he's going to have some great setups for these last couple of races in this round. And then it's just kind of practice. I know I have my work cut out for me on the ovals. It kind of comes naturally to those guys, but I need to take a little more work than them. So that's what it's going to take, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, for sure. It was a great run for you tonight, that number 27. Anybody you got to thank here tonight at the Charlotte Roval?
Yeah, I want to thank my team. That's Beaver State Racing. I want to thank LSRTV for putting on these awesome broadcasts, and the Northwest Racing League for making this all happen. So thanks to everybody, and thanks for watching.
Well, guys, that was Paul Newton driving the number 27, coming home P2 on the podium here tonight. We'll send it back to Terry Radford, who's standing by with Devin West.
Well, Devin West, P3. Would you expect it to be talking to me at the end of this in P3?
Not at all. I just showed up yesterday and put like 10 laps of practice in. Felt like I was kind of slow, and then all of a sudden now I'm in P3. So, I mean, I gotta be happy with that. I don't know how I'd be disappointed. Other than I thought I had a little more speed in the second stint. Dad was kind of driving with me, so was Paul, and I was hoping I could stay with them, but they were just way too fast.
Well, coming to the line there, you had a fast 25 machine and Ryan Bloom driving through the field, got about 0.4 of a second from you. Did you think he was going to make just a wild move going into the final set of corners, or how was you prepared to maybe play a little defense there?
Well, I saw Ryan come for a long time, we got by Sean, and was just driving me down, and I knew I was doing all I could. I mean, I was running past the laps I could possibly run. There's nothing left in the tank. I mean, I was doing all I could, so when he got to me, I just kept doing that, kept running my own pace, and I know Ryan's not that kind of guy. I mean, if he was going to pass me, it was going to be fair and square. I raced around him enough on dirt, oval, pavement oval, or of course, whatever it might be. I think we respect each other enough.
Well, we go to Iowa next week. Where do you rank that in your favorite list? If you were to put a track somewhere, would Iowa be in your top 10, or is it a little lower on that list?
Top 10. I don't think that's not a bad place to put it. Ton of character. I'm not really anything special there. I can run top 5 and definitely get the most of my set. But it's a fun track. A lot of character. It's pretty rough. Both corners are different. Definitely kind of like a road course almost. Just every single 100 feet is different from the last 100 feet. So it's kind of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what I like to hear. Well, all right. Let's hear them. Let's hear those sponsors.
Sounds good. To start, Effective Web Solution, Kenny's Custom Hardwood, Motorsports Distributing, Advanced Automotive. Those guys have all helped me out in real life for a long time. And obviously LSRTV. You guys brought on a great broadcast. And LSRTV, the team, Jeff, Sean, John, obviously Dad. They're a ton of fun to get on and just hang out with. That's honestly why I do it. So big shout out to all those guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Devin West here finishing P3. And Jason, we'll come to you first for closing thoughts. Obviously, this was a 55 lap, fight to the death at the Charlotte ROVAL. Sum it up for me before we go down there to the Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, it really was a tough race tonight. You know, only a handful of drivers really played a factor here tonight. I mean, and Dan West Jr. comes out of here pretty much with an upset win. And now he's locked into the next round of the playoffs. Who would have thought? Coming in here, we said, you know, in the beginning of the broadcast before we went on air, you know, about qualifying, Paul Newton and Ryan Bloom, you know, pretty much we're going to be the top two to look out for all night. You know, Paul has an issue. Then Ryan took advantage of it. Ryan has an issue due to an iRacing issue. And then Paul gets back to the lead because he short pit before the comp caution. And then Dan just straight up passes him through turn one. I just couldn't believe it. You know, and Dan just set a great pace here tonight. Definitely, you know, had some eyes looking towards him here now for these next two races. And now next week when they go into Iowa, you know, you hear a lot of drivers say it's an abrasive racetrack. It's worn out. It's multi-groove. You pretty much got 3 lanes to work with, bottom, middle, top. It's multi-groove. Tires wear out. It races like Richmond. But in my opinion, I want to say it's a little better than Richmond. You know, everybody praises Iowa for the racing that it puts on, you know, whether it be fuel strategy, crazy restarts, or whatever it may be. These drivers, you know, especially like if you're Paul Newton, you know, you had to come in here tonight with a good race. He was outside looking in. Now he probably might be in as of now heading into these next 2 races. So he needs to be consistent these next 2 races, especially next week at Iowa. And then we head to Texas for the last race before the end of the round. I'm looking for Paul Newton to probably show up to those next 2 races. But overall, great race here tonight. Had fun calling the race with you and Wesley.
Well, for all of us here, don't forget our upcoming schedule. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll catch Finish Line on all of your major platforms, LSRTV's YouTube. You'll catch it on the Fox Sports affiliate. So if you're in the local Charlotte area, check your radio dials for Finish Line there. Might have one on Saturday, but you'll catch us again 7:45 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday for the major series. To catch Monday for the Northwest Cup Series. That will be at Iowa, and then we'll catch you back here at 11:25 Eastern Standard Time Thursday night for Iowa. For all of us at LSRTV, for Wesley Outland, for Jason Rockefeller, I'm Terry Radford. Charles Wooten's pushed all the buttons behind the scenes. We'll see you Sunday for the majors. Have a good night.